Alrighty, everyone. I'm back once again with a planetary update. And I'm a little late on this one here for Uranus retrograde in Taurus 2019. But, let's just move forward. All right, guys. So, Uranus retrograde here in Taurus 2019 is from August 2019 till January 2020. So, Uranus retrograde here in Taurus is stationed retrograde at 6 degrees in Taurus on August 11, 2019, and it goes stationed direct at 2 degrees in Taurus on January 10th, 2020. And also, too, here, Uranus retrograde in Taurus 2019 is also transiting in the Nakshatra Kritika. Alrighty, guys, let me go ahead and tune in and see what comes through psychically. And then we'll dive into all things astrologically. What's coming through here as I tune in is you might feel mistakenly unheard, yet assured. Because first they laugh, then they copy. During this transit, guys, I'm getting here, it's like really important to find the time to always take a second look at your immediate reality. Also, allow things to just play out so your assumptions can weed out. Okay, what's coming through too is love is a funny thing, but so is your reputation. I feel like you guys will all experience during this transit, and we'll really start to understand that seeing is not believing, for believing is seeing. Sometimes it is only after relentlessly striving to obtain a specific goal is when we realize that this was actually only the first step toward obtaining a much bigger goal that has yet to present itself. So, always remember to embrace the journey, not the destination. Also, what's coming through, guys, is if you aren't content with what you have now, and once you finally get what you're looking for, what makes you think that you'll actually appreciate any of it at all? If you could have everything you've ever wanted at this exact moment, would it make your decision any easier, or rather enhance your blindness to the immediate reality? Okay, yeah, a reader once said to me, sight and vision are two different things, and spirit is needing you to use your gift of vision. All right. Also, too, what's coming through is there will come a day and time when you'll become sick and tired of needing to visit your wall of hanging masks before exiting your front door. When we choose to drag our feet time and time again, sometimes, just sometimes, the universe will no longer wait for you. Wow, okay. Okay, what else is coming through is, okay, so yeah, you've made some mistakes in the past, and you might not be exactly where you want to be. But that's got nothing to do with your future. All right, guys, let's go ahead and hop into the astrology here. All right, guys, so whenever Uranus is retrograde, as a collective, we review how well we are able to handle those random unforeseen disruptions in life. But, which ultimately brings about those changes in which we really, really, really need to make. Random, erratic events, circumstances, and situations decide to just pop up and basically take a shit in our cereal. Kind of feel like that. When Uranus is retrograde, we are given the chance to recognize how well we are able to handle not only ourselves, but other external people, places, and things all at the same time in many different situations. Often Uranus retrograde prepares us for the radical but positive changes needed for exponential growth. Uranus retrograde, guys, it induces the internal changes that we need to make regarding an attitude or behaviors which are necessary to make the desired change possible that we really need and we really want to make. Often the changes we seek and that we really desire are kind of allowing us to have and to gain and to make room for like personal freedom. Whatever the case may be, though, Uranus retrograde allows us to process things internally before like actually manifesting such change externally. Here we also get to see if, when, and where we fold under pressure. Whereas like we recognize unforeseen weak points that subconsciously keep us energetically stagnant, which often leads to complacency by or from like resting upon our laurels. This like causes us to like reassess, realign, and reform our life and our motivations and really get down to understanding what our motivations are and what's the intent behind them. Also, Uranus retrograde often makes it like much harder for us to just be our true self in the moment. And this often like causes internal and external distress, which always makes total sense later on, why that's going on. And just in general, guys, like, given when it comes to Uranus in general, especially when retrograde, things tend to be like very unpredictable and unreliable. Yet, Uranus brings us major realizations about our life, about our path, and just what's going on in our life. This is nothing to fear because Uranus retrograde always shows us exactly where the weakest link resides within our chain. All right, guys, so I'm going to discuss here the Nakshatra Kritika, which is also ruled by the sun. Kritika Nakshatra is associated with the 7 stars that make up the Big Dipper. It's also associated with the Palladians as well. Kritika is associated with fire, which also marks the initial manifestation of the absolute, of the imperishable. Essentially, this fire is the essence of the life force that resides in every form of existence. Kritika Nakshatra brings about the radical changes that life presents to us. However, at the same time, Kritika has like a feminine quality or a passive quality to it. Kritika, here it delegates the ever-changing conditions that are needed for spiritual evolution to effectively transpire in our life. Kritika Nakshatra, you can speak of here, it's like its primary motivation is desire. Given the influence of this nakshatra, builds the divine qualities in man, as it strips us from living a nonsensical materialistic existence, Therefore, it rids us of like false humility and self-centered service to self behaviors and attitudes. Kritika is also like, can be described as like the divine downpour that cleanses the soul, enabling it to operate on a spiritual plane. When this happens, the life of this individual or the individual changes radically, but positively. We basically become a pillar of light and a center of like spiritual force, by which are the higher qualities that hold the universe together, just in general, Kritika provides like the appropriate amount of ingredients needed for spiritual evolution, as well as the destruction of all hindering forces. Kritika has a constructive and destructive like potentiality, or its potentials can be very much described like that, as being like constructive and destructive, right? Regarding like constructively, Kritika heightens the creative urges in an individual, as it can increase sensitivity for like artistic and intellectual pursuits. Regarding destructively, Kritika dismantles those tendencies which impede evolutionary forces of all kinds, of any kind. Kritika affects the individual or an individual as well as like the collective, all at the same time. It's very interesting. So basically anything or anyone that is contrary to the divine plan will be importantly affected by Kritika's spiritual force. This nakshatra here, guys, Kritika holds characteristics like that of a curved knife or like a razor, which is not meant to be used or interpreted as like an instrument of war, but more like a tool in the hands of a surgeon. Doctors, in general here, they use a knife to remove like foreign objects lodged in human tissue, right? Like as to repair and restore its proper function. So Kritika is destructive in that sense, or in this sense. One important thing to mention here, guys, with Kritika Nakshatra is that Kritika isn't necessarily, it really isn't though, like a causational force. It's an influential force. The person, place, or thing represents like the surgeon using the knife. So that the annihilation of worldly attachments can then begin to sow the seeds of spiritual consciousness. All right, guys, that completes my interpretation here for Uranus Retrograde in Taurus 2019. Go ahead and visit intuitiveperceptions.com for all of your booking needs and services needs. And as always, everyone, God bless and love and light.